And we're live. Hi, I'm Mackenzie Cormier with the Deborah Lucci team, and today we here have my team leader, Deborah Lucci, and one of my teammates, Diana Silva. And
Hello.
today we are going to be talking about, are we in a housing bubble and is the market expected to crash? So we've been getting this question a lot lately just because the market is moving so quickly. There's so much demand and there are not that many homes available for sale. So we figured that this would be a great topic to talk about and tune into and see if anybody has any questions. But it really is no secret that we've been in a housing frenzy for the past few months. And, from the insane bidding wars to all of the soaring prices to waiving contingencies, buyers pretty much nationwide are doing whatever it takes in order to buy a home. But the thing that keeps coming back is, are we in a housing bubble? And I think it's really important to understand that it may look this way from what happened the last time that the market crashed. It's a lot of the same variables, but at the end of the day, the biggest thing is that we have such a lack of inventory, and that is really the main differentiating factor here, on top of the fact that people have significant equity in their homes and people are no longer financing their lifestyle through their home.
So I can. You girls weren't around when it crashed the last time, okay? But I was, so I can tell you exactly what it feels like. So, people were using their houses like an ATM machine. They, and I was a little guilty too. I had 2 kids going to college, and that's how I had a home equity loan, and I was trying to pull money out to help them get through college. So, I was just as guilty as everybody else. So, but you could feel it. A lot of agents took the summer off. I remember it was July. It was July of 2005, not 2008, 2005. I had about 14 listings, and you could feel the market almost come to a halt. And then the agents that took the summer off came back in September, and they were like, "What happened?" Because it was going like crazy, like it kind of is right now. But we had. We had quite a bit of inventory back then. I mean, I was holding 14 listings myself. Now, I have them one week and they're gone the next. But the reason that there was a bubble last time was because it was really real estate related. That's what blew up, and we're not sure that that's the case. I mean, what are you feeling out there, Mackenzie? What are you hearing out there?
Like from both sides, from the buy side?
From the buy side and the sell, what are they asking you?
I would say that honestly, more of the objection that I'm getting, or the questions that I'm getting, is more on the sell side. And I think a lot of people are worried to list because they think, well, what if I missed this window of opportunity? Or what if, like, once the house is under contract, what if something were to happen in the market were to just completely shut down or flip or turn? And I think that it's just crucial for them to understand and for us to get across that really the thing that's driving these prices up is the fact that there's not enough supply. And as long as this is the case and rates remain where they are, and it's inevitable that rates will go up, they are expected to climb, but they're really not going to get back, or they're not projected to get back to around 3.8 until the end of 2022. So still,
and that's not high.
Right. And people just have been saving so much money. Some people have made it big in the stock market or things like that. And I'm seeing a lot of cash on the buy side as well. So, when I'm going up and making offers, I think the last 3 offers I've written up, I've lost to cash offers. So I don't think that there's really anything to be concerned with as of right now, just because there's just too much demand.
And I think I definitely think it's that the millennial age group, that they need housing right now. They're having children and they need to get out of the city, and they need to, I mean, you think about it in the city, let's say you have 2 children, what would a 3-bedroom cost you in the city in comparison to, 4 or 5-bedroom in the suburbs? And that's what I think is really driving it. But I mean, the one thing that I think is always fascinating about real estate is you can feel it on the street week to week. So like we went over at our agent meeting yesterday. We're talking about like what's been coming in for offers in comparison to like what's been coming in like about a month ago, and maybe it was just the properties I had in the last few weeks, but a month ago, 2 months ago, we would have had like 14 offers, 21 offers. Last couple of weeks, I had, one offer on a property. The other house had 4 offers on a property. So it seems like it's not. I mean, the offers are coming in. The properties are going under. They're still going under for good money, but it doesn't seem like the 20 offers is the craziness. We'll have to see in the next few weeks. It'll be interesting because we have a lot of properties coming on May 12th. What happens with those properties and how things go. I think people right now, are you noticing like, especially like Wednesday, Thursday, there's a lot more properties coming on the market than there were a few months ago. So maybe this is it. These buyers have a little bit more to choose from. So
I was going to say real quick too, I think it depends. More people are vaccinated too, so they're feeling more comfortable, opening it up and letting people kind of come into their house.
Mm-hmm.
But
so what are you hearing from buyers, Diana?
So I have a lot of buyers that they don't want to, there's crazy things that they have to do to get a house sometimes, and they don't feel comfortable waiving all the contingencies. So there's some, different creative ways that I think we're going to start to do. There's also some things that they can do in terms of making a cash offer, but not necessarily having that cash. They're working with like a Morgan Stanley, for instance. If they were to work with them, they can kind of free up, if they have money with them, they can free up they can make it liquid basically, and then they can refinance. And so then it's like they're paying cash when, I guess I don't really know if they're technically it is cash, but it's not like it's coming right from them.
Right, but it's they're still getting like mortgages, but they're crossing out the finance contingencies. That's what's happening a little bit.
But it's coming across as like a cash offer.
Right.
Yeah. So I think that that's a little new thing that I'm seeing. And also, they're worried. They don't want to spend $100,000 over asking, waiving appraisals, waiving everything, and then they have to fix and change the house, and it's hard.
But, I think because there's more inventory coming on, that things are going to even out a little bit more. I could see that like with some of the house that I had that went under this week, we had 4 offers on it. I allowed one of the buyers to do a pre-home inspection. They asked me, and we allowed it. But not every home inspection was crossed out on all of them. So you can see it's maybe because the inventory is getting a little bit heavier that it's starting to change. And this is fairly typical for this time of year. Mm-hmm. So, and Mackenzie, I was hearing that the stats for people that have no mortgage is like 41%.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm dying to be one of those people as quickly as possible. So, so, you've got people that are a lot smarter now. And, maybe what it is it's the baby boomers were the ones at that time during the recession trying to, support their kids and get their kids through college. And, they had all these bills. And to be honest with you, we kind of felt like it was never going to end. We just saw the prices going up and it was never going to end. And these were the good old days. And so you just kept, taking money out of your house. But I do think it's going to be different now. So what are the things that you've kind of heard, Mackenzie? Because I know you've been paying attention to this subject quite a bit.
Yeah, well, I think one thing to note is that 3/4 of millennials plan on buying a house by the end of 2022. So I do agree that I think the market will level. I don't foresee things going $100,000, $200,000 over the listing price forever. And I think that right now it's kind of really a case by case basis. I know last week it was a school vacation, I think for New Hampshire or Massachusetts, I forget which one.
Yeah, Mass.
So,
Yeah.
and more people are starting to travel too. So I feel like with everybody at home for so long, they were, the only thing that they could really go do was go look at homes if they were in the market. And now they have some other things going on. So I do still feel like it's sort of a case by case basis where if it's a quote unquote hot house, I think that a lot of those elements of the competitive offers and going the crazy amounts over and waiving everything, that's still going to be there. And I think that the buyers that lost out on a lot of these homes are still going to make those competitive offers because they just don't want to risk losing. They want to take advantage of the low rates. I actually heard that the mortgage rates came down a little bit, and according to Freddie Mac, they're 2.97% for a 30-year conventional right now. So it's the first time in, I think, 2 months that they've dipped down a little bit.
That's crazy. I don't want to date myself, but when I was in high school, they were almost 19%. I mean, it's
Wow.
really, oh yeah, that's how high they were. It was crazy. So that's so unbelievable. So maybe like instead of the market like going like this, like it has been, it's going to go like this. It's going to be more of a balanced market for both buyers and sellers. So, typically what happens in a typical summer market, we haven't had typical probably since both of you have been selling real estate, because last year was crazy. And so typically what happens is in the summer, it slows down a little bit because people are busy with other things. And that's what happens. So, that may not be a bad time to be a buyer.
Mhm.
Because if you don't have everybody out there like flocking like crazy, it may not be a bad time to be a buyer.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think another thing that they've been talking about too, just in terms of the lack of supply, is that really the main driver of the housing shortfall has been the long-term decline in construction of specifically single-family homes. And that decline has just resulted in the decrease of supply of entry-level single-family homes, or what some may call them as quote unquote starter homes. And I think too, the thing with new construction right now is that if you were to build something new, it probably wouldn't be in the price range of a first-time buyer because the costs and materials are up. And especially with where we are in Massachusetts, there's just not a lot of land left. I know like Western Mass and stuff like that, there's more out there. But I think people still, although they're willing to go away from the city and have a longer commute eventually if they have to go back into the city for work, I don't know if they're ready to go like too far away. So I don't know. I think it's interesting with the new construction because really everyone's just relying on the resales in order to increase the inventory.
Mhm.
It's going to be very, as you know, I live in the north end of Boston, so it's going to be very interesting to see how the traffic, because it's coming back.
Mhm.
Okay, it's going to be very interesting to see how the traffic after COVID is going to do something regarding the housing market. You can start to see it come back, but maybe the fact that people can do so many Zoom calls in comparison, it might help it. Maybe it won't get as heavy as it was before. I'm not feeling it getting like in and out as heavy as it was before, but when I'm going, because I'm in Andover just about every day, going from Andover into Boston, you can see that traffic coming up north, starting to back away, starting to get heavy again. So that's going to be interesting in the long run to see how that pans out. Maybe the city will come back a little bit. I know they're pushing it like heck, but so now tell me what else is going on. What else have you heard about why this is not a bubble?
Well, the other thing I was reading too, which article is this? It was is the housing market about to crash? Here's what experts say. This was just written yesterday. So they said that, the market, even though prices are, the market looks more stable than it did 15 years ago, and supply has fallen to an all-time low, borrowers are more creditworthy than ever. And that, in 2007, when they were just giving out loans to just about anybody, you didn't even need to show proof of income. They called that, what is it, liar loans or something like that? They had an expression for it.
One mortgage, yeah. I remember the mortgage broker saying if they had a pulse, you can get them a loan. And that's how,
so that's happening. So that's really good. So they were saying that, they're like, experts say that they're not worried about that because, even though the mortgage rates remain historic lows, they're not worried that this is going to be another 2007, 2008, and 2009 type of
yeah,
thing.
And we were talking about this at one of our meetings too. I mean, some of the offers that I've received, even though they're putting an offer in, let's say for $1,075,000, they're handing me a pre-approval that says they can qualify for $1.5 million.
Right.
And that would have never been done before.
Right.
So I just think the millennials, they're making good money. They're well educated. They're making good money, and I don't know. My kids are a little bit probably more conservative than I was, and better savers than I was, and when I was their age. Now, what else have you heard? What else have you seen kind of go on?
I think that one of the biggest things in terms of the question, are we in a housing bubble, is that America has a record low number of homes available for sale. So it's actually just over it's over 1 million, so 1.03 million. And when the market crashed, there were more than 4 million homes available for sale. And so, basically almost half of homes right now, whenever you list something, are selling within 1 week of being listed. It's like you go through, all the effort to finally secure the listing and get the listing, and you begin the pre-marketing, but it really is only on for 1 weekend if it's priced correctly, and then it's done. So I don't think that this is even comparable to the last time, and I was so young when that happened, but I don't really remember it, but I do because my family's in construction, and so I saw, my dad get out of the single family construction side of things just because of the way that it was. But I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think that the market is going to crash? I don't feel it at all, and I don't think it's headed that way. But
I just, I think one of the things that I want to kind of mention that I've never seen as much as I've seen as much now as really ever before. And because I know the houses aren't on long. And so it looks like, as an agent, it looks easy. It looks like you put it on, goes under, and you just move it along. But I think now more than ever, it's so important to hire the right agent, because I think the right agent can actually earn their commission back and make you more money if you've got somebody that does the right pre-marketing package and also does the right photography, markets to enough agents, and is a good negotiator. So I think that is why more than ever, I think hiring the right real estate agent, because one of the houses we had last week, he was very happy. I mean, it went almost 100,000 over asking price, and also he had no home inspection, and he had no financing. So, I mean, I don't think it's a rookie's game right now. I think it's, if you hire the right agent to do this, they'll earn their commission back plus. So I think that that's very important. To me, it's got a very different feel. I've been doing this 24 years. I have never seen a market like this. I've seen when, it went out to 203, 204 when it was going up. I remember Andover at one point when I first started, that was in 1998. There was a total of 35 homes on the market. It was fast and was furious, and you used to find out what was coming on the market by picking up the phone when the phone lit that was on your desk. Okay. Right now, I think we have like 21 homes on the market in Andover. There's not that much. And probably half of them already have offers on them, but they just haven't been marked because they're just waiting for something to go through. But I don't know. I just think more than ever now, hiring the right real estate agent with strong marketing, and I think the agent with that just offers low commission. I think you'll end up making much less money than if you hire somebody that really knows the market, knows what they're doing.
Yeah, and I think what you're saying, Deb, too, is exactly what we've been seeing the past couple of weeks, that people are starting to not just make the offer that's 100,000 over and waiving everything. So I feel that it really does matter which agent you hire, and make sure that they're just marketing and reaching as many people as possible in order to create all the buzz and momentum. Because I know, for example, like when I'm at my own listing, or if I'm out with my buyers and I can tell that there's a lot of people, I'm like, okay, we're going to have to make this like really competitive, because look at how many people are here and are interested in this property. So if your agent is not able to market to all of the other agents and prospective buyers, then you're really doing yourself a disservice, even if you think you're winning, because you're not paying another 0.5% or 1%. But I would probably say like 9 times out of 10 in this market, if you do hire the agent that is charging you the full commission and knows what they're doing and has the track record, then I think that we will be able to make it back, because we have made that percentage difference back.
And I think more now than I've ever seen. It's almost like, I have to be honest with you, I almost feel it's like a challenge for me. Okay, can I make for this seller more than my commission? And I kind of enjoy doing that on Mondays and Tuesdays when the offers come in and things like that. But I think it feels very, very different, this market, than it did during the recession. The recession, I mean, you could feel it. It went, you could feel it like 205 and then just stop. It was almost at a dead stop during the summertime. And I was hoping it was going to come back in the fall, and it never did. And it went that way till December 2012. That's when that recession for real estate in Andover, that's how I kind of go by what just our local area, it bottomed out. It really bottomed out. And it was bottomed out really here in Boston too, because I was kind of searching for a condo at the time. And then the next spring, they were having problems with appraisals, because just like now, they're going back 6 months. They're looking at the solds.
Yeah. And
they were looking at 2012 fall market, winter market closings. And what happens is the market started to it started to go back up. And I remember buyers at that time that were just, they were fooling around, thinking they had all kinds of time, and this was in 2012. All of a sudden the market changed in 2013 and things were moving. And all of a sudden we were getting multiple offers, and it wasn't going as high as it is now, not even close. But I remember those buyers were like, all of a sudden, like, what the heck just happened? I'm like, welcome to the market I started in. This is it's coming back to a seller's market. So, but it feels very, very different now. I'm not worried about it as crashing, really, because I think people have a lot of equity in their homes. And I think that that's the bottom line, and I don't think you're going to see a lot of people like before. They owed all this. I would go on like 5 interviews, and maybe I could put one house on the market because the other 4 owed more money on the house than the house was worth, which was kind of sad. But
I think too, right now, like even if there is a slowdown for like 1 week or 2 weeks or something like that, I think the most important thing is that it's more of a lifestyle change. And I really think that COVID forced all of us to think about what we want, and especially a lot of those millennials that are living in the city. And is it worth it to keep paying if they have a baby already, or someone on the way, or whatever it is? They want more space, and is it worth it to pay up to $5,000 a month for a rental when you could be building equity in a home? So I really
That's cheap, Mackenzie, $5,000 a month.
I know my buyers that just moved out of Boston to Andover, when they were signing everything, they were like, I can't believe how much our mortgage is less than what our rent is right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, well, congratulations.
Yeah, that's the reality of it. And just think, if you needed 3 bedrooms in Boston, my son Frankie is in a 2-bedroom, and I think it's about 1,100 square feet. He's paying $4,000 a month, but the rents have gone down in Boston quite a bit. But they're going to go back up again. And if you need a 3-bedroom, what's that going to cost you? 65? Crazy money. Yeah.
Me for rent. Yeah.
Yeah. And you think about that too. You get a couple of kids in a condo with you're lucky if you get the elevator. I mean, we don't see a lot of kids in the North End with, 2 and 3 kids, because most of the time, if you got to go upstairs, that's not working for you.
Right.
With the baby carriage and the groceries and everything else. So it is a lifestyle change. And I think some people, some of the millennials that I've been talking to that are thinking about listing their homes, some of them are thinking about moving out of state.
Yeah.
So you want to talk about a lifestyle change, because they're like, look, I'm on Zoom calls all day long. I might as well live in a state that's cheaper or warmer, or so that's a little bit of a difference too. So people are really changing where they live right now. So
yeah, I have a lot of friends actually that are living in New York City, and because their companies said at the beginning of COVID, we're going remote for at least a year, or some companies 2 years, whatever it was. A lot of them are in Miami right now and doing like temporary short-term leases because everything's remote. So I know the Florida market is really hot.
Yeah. Yeah. But I think it's very different. Now, what are some of the other things that you were thinking about, you learning about a little bit, Mackenzie, when we're learning about this this market in comparison to the recession? The rates are much different now than they were before.
Yeah. And I think that just a lot of people have a lot more money now today. And I don't know if it's really because of just COVID and, people you didn't really go out as much, and you kind of looked at your finances more, and you're like, okay, where can I cut back and save more? And you weren't going out to dinner all the time. You weren't
shopping.
Yeah. You weren't traveling. So I feel like there's a lot more money available, and it's cheap to borrow right now too.
Yeah, I think you actually said something like this though, but the Mortgage Bankers Association expects rates to rise to 3.7% by the end of 2021. So
2021, okay.
By the end of this year.
And I think, Mackenzie, you were talking about 3.8 in 2022.
Yeah. Yeah. The thing that I saw was that they really weren't going to change throughout 2022 like that much. Like it's supposed to get over like 3.4, I think, by the end of 2021. But then it's supposed to be kind of like it is right now, just like stabilized throughout 2022.
All right. So you think about that. All right. So if you take the fact that people have more equity in their homes right now than they've ever had, us baby boomers, I think, have probably learned our lessons, and our kids are grown now. So that's the reason we're doing well. I think the millennials are probably making more money than the baby boomers ever made when we were, your age. So you take the fact that there's more equity out there, more money out there. I think what's going to happen is, I think people, like, I know myself, I want to travel. I want to do things. So, I think what's going to happen is you're going to have sellers that are going to come on the market, and maybe the inventory won't disappear so quickly. So then the inventory will start building up, and things will settle down a little bit. It won't be the craziness. And if you still have low rates, home's a great investment. So, it looks like to me, the way I'm seeing it is, and I'm hearing it as well. And I've been listening to, a lot of things that you've listened to. I think that, we're going to be fine. And I think, let's see what this summer brings and what this fall market brings. I think that is, those are big factors. The spring market's always kind of crazy. It just always is. It's, everybody gets so excited because their houses look so great, and then it settles down a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So, we'll see. We'll see how that works out. But that's kind of our thoughts on it.
Mm-hmm.
So, ladies, we're out of time, but I've enjoyed talking with you today, and thank you so much for your great information. And you can find me, Deborah Lucci, at Where Homes Get Sold. Mackenzie, where can they find you?
CormierProperties.com.
Diana?
And DianaSilvaRealtor.com.
Okay, so we'll be back in 2 weeks with another Facebook Live. And if you have some topics you want us to talk about, we'd be glad to hear from you.
Mm-hmm.
All right? Thank you very much and have a great day.